Hey guys, what's up? Today I am here to do another book haul. It's been months since my last video, but it's been very hectic in my life. I moved out and so I'm in a new place now, so of course you can tell my bookshelf is different. And no, these are not all my books. You guys would notice from my other videos that I have a lot more than this. But now I have even more because I've bought a lot of books since then. I have over 30 now that I need to haul. And I don't think I'm gonna stop buying books anytime soon, so that's fun. Anyway, so now I have red hair from the last time you saw. I love this. This happened over a while ago actually, and I love it, so I've been keeping it up. And I graduate this Saturday, so I'm really excited. There's a bunch of new changes coming in. Plus, I'll be going to Oregon and Alaska this summer, and I leave June 4th, so I'm very excited. So I will probably be vlogging some adventures and do a collab video with my sister Natalia, and her husband's in the Air Force, so she actually has a channel, and I will put her channel's name in the doobly-doo. Alright, so let's get started with this book haul because I have so many books and it's crazy, and my TBR list just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I have no idea what to do with my life. So the first book I have is Lady Midnight by Cassandra Clare. This book was released back in March, and my wonderful boyfriend actually bought this for me on the release day, and it's pretty happy. And plus it's a signed copy. Let me find it. I don't know where it is. Okay, there it is, and it's beautiful, so I appreciate that. And I have yet to finish reading this book, which is crazy. I started reading it, I was so into it, it was so good already. But there's other books, and then school came along, and then it just gets crazy then. It just gets crazy. The next book I have is Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. And I already read this book and I loved it, and you haven't read it yet, you have to read it. It's so good. I cried like a baby at the end. It is fantastic. And if you did not know, this book is actually becoming a movie, so you better get to reading it because that comes out early June 3rd, actually, June 3rd. So it's so fantastic if you have not read it yet. Alright, so the next book I have is Number of the Stars by Lois Lowry, and this is the same author that wrote The Giver. And I love this book, and it takes place during World War II, and I read it in 5th grade, and I remember I just loved it, so I had to buy it because Lois Lowry is a fantastic author. And I've been looking over for this book forever, and this is such a pretty copy, so I'm probably definitely going to reread this after such a long time of not reading it. The next book I have is Winter's Tale by Mark Halperin. This is actually a movie now. It was released a couple of years ago, I believe. And at the time when the movie came out, I didn't even know it was a book. And so I finally found it, and I'm definitely going to be reading this book sometime. But it's a pretty good sized book, so who knows when I'll get to it, but I was very happy to have found it. The next book I have is Room by Emma Donoghue, and I loved this book. It was so fantastic. I actually watched the movie first, which is usually a big no-no for me, but I was so waiting to just watch it, and I read the book right after that, and I could not put it down. It is a fantastic book. It is so different from a lot of books, and it's crazy. It's about this little boy, Jack, and his mom. They live in this place called Room, and it's actually a gardener's shed. It's a shed, and they've been locked in there, and it's just cool because it's just Jack exploring the world, and how he is attached to this room, and I can kind of relate to being attached to something like that. It's just so good. It's really, really good. I definitely recommend it. It's one of my favorite books now. The next book I have is Dawn of the Dreadfuls by by Steve Hawkinsmith, and this is the prequel to Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. So I was pretty happy to have found this book. There's this lovely used bookstore, which is a fantastic bookstore that we have in Tennessee. It's called McKay's, and it's so fantastic where you can find like so many books for like such a cheap price. This was only $1, and it's like, it looks brand new. You know, it's crazy how people just. I love those kind of bookstores. I just love them. Especially when you can't find a book that you really can't find in a typical bookstore like Barnes & Noble or Books A Million. It's just awesome to find them at a used bookstore for a cheaper price. The next book I have is Dragonfly in Amber by Diana Gabaldon. This is the second book in the Outlander series, and if you have not watched Outlander yet or read any of the books, you need to watch them and read them. I'm only on the second one, obviously, but you need to definitely get into the show because the show is fantastic.
And I absolutely love it. I haven't been able to watch season 2 yet, but that's really hard. It's really hard. But anyways, it is so good. I can't even tell you how great it is. And if you want to hear more about how great it is, just go to Sasha Ellsbury's channel because she'll tell you all about it. All about it. It's fantastic, guys. Fantastic.
The next 2 books I have are by the same author, and this is from my lovely boyfriend as one of my birthday presents this year. So, thank you! And it is Traffic and Rumble by Ellen Hopkins. And these are the only 2 books that I did not have by Ellen Hopkins. And so now I have all of the Ellen Hopkins books. I absolutely love this author. So, yeah. If you haven't read any of her books, they're so fantastic, and what she writes about is just amazing. There's like, it's things with like depression, and it's all really just neat how she writes and everything. And her writing style is in free verse, and I love that. It's so unique. I find it easy to read too. It's just like I can fly by with it and still get the whole story. So yeah. So thank you to my boyfriend Tyler. Thank you very much. I appreciate these gifts. The next book I have is one of my favorite books that I finally bought after wanting it for so long. For some reason I procrastinated buying this book, and I have no idea why, but I finally got it. And it's The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. And if you guys have not read this book is fantastic. It's about a freshman named Charlie starting high school without his best friend because his best friend committed suicide, and it's him going through high school and meeting these friends, and that really just bring him out, and it's just amazing. It's something I could totally relate to as a person, but it is so good, and if you haven't read it, I definitely recommend it. It's one of my favorites. The next book I have is The Duff by Cody Keplinger, and I have not read or watched the movie yet because I don't know, I heard about it and I wanted to read it, but then I kind of got out of the mood of not wanting to read it. But then I found it at Books A Million for $2, and I was like, I wanted to read this book a while ago, so I'm just gonna buy it. So now I kind of am interested in reading it again. I do have the movie copy, but it's really cool, and I cannot wait to read it because I've heard a lot about this book. I've heard it's really great. The next 3 books I have are part of a series or a trilogy, and it is The Outlaw Chronicles by Ted Dekker, and we have Eyes Wide Open, Hacker, and Water Walker. And I have not read any of these books yet, but it's one of my Michaela's favorite authors ever. So her parents and her bought this for my birthday, so I cannot wait to dive into it because she's told me so much about this author, and he just seems fantastic. So if you guys have read any books by Ted Dekker, let me know how you like him. I really like to know your opinion as well. Next thing I have is technically a book, but my best friend and her mom bought it, and every time I talk about my best friend, I'm meaning Michaela. Sorry, Michaela's like my sister. Anywho, but one day I was at work and I couldn't go out with them, and they got me the Friends cookbook, and I was overjoyed. I love Friends. Friends is my favorite, like one of my favorite shows ever. I could watch it over and over again and never get sick of it because I
love Friends. I love Phoebe. I really like Phoebe. Phoebe's so cool. Smelly cat, smelly cat. What are they feeding you? So I'm really excited. I honestly will probably try making something so pretty. I got a friend's cookbook. Reasons I actually really don't have friends.
Next two books I have are part of a big series that we've all have heard of, which is a TV show as well, and that is Pretty Liars, and it's Toxic and Crushed by Sarah Shepard. And these books were like $3 a piece, and I was so into Pretty Liars, the books, and I thought for a while I stopped reading them because there was just so many, and she just kept writing more and more, and I just couldn't keep up with it. But I decided I think I'm gonna, once it's kind of toned down a little, I think I'm gonna get back into reading the books again. The next book I have is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. Now, the only reason why I know about this book really is because of Natasha from Tasha Paulus. You can check out her channel, and she discovered this author, and she made a big deal about him because he's an attractive author. Do you see that? Do you see that? And it really wasn't a well-known book, actually. And so she found it and she loved it. And so I bought it as well because I saw it for like $6. And I was like, hey, I heard about that. And I had to just get it. But that's what I say about like all books, basically. The next book I have is part of a trilogy. It is the Chaos of Walking trilogy. Yeah, the Chaos Walking trilogy, and it is by Patrick Ness. And I found the last book. I've yet to get the second one, but the last one is Monsters of Men by Patrick Ness. And if you have not read a book by Patrick Ness, he is fantastic. My first book I read by him was When a Monster Calls, and that book was so good. I couldn't put it down. I just kept reading it and reading it. It's one of those books that you just had to sit. You just read in one sitting, and so it's very hard for me to find that. It was like I never saw this book before in a store, so I just grabbed it because it's one of those books that if you see it, then you gotta buy it right away, you know. The next book I have is Amy and Roger's Epic Detour by Morgan Madsen, and I picked this up because I did hear about this book through BookTube, so I decided to get it, and I found it for like $2, and I've been wanting to read it because it has like a bunch of like cool stuff in it, like list and everything. I don't know, it's just places to go. It was just very cute, and I finally found it, and I cannot wait to read this because it'll be perfect for summertime. The next book I have is The Help by Catherine Stockett.
I mind the stickers on it. It bothers me actually when there's stickers on books. Like I just have to take it off. They make it so hard to take off some stickers on books, though. Like they make it super difficult. And all you want is just a pretty book, and then they put all these stickers on it. It's just make it difficult to get it pretty again, you know? You don't understand the struggle. Good morning.
Okay, so the next book I have is Falling Into Place by Amy Zhang, and I'm not sure what this book is about. I picked it up on a whim because Michaela was like, yeah, I bought that book, and I was just like, it's a cute cover, and I just think it'd be a cute contemporary novel, and yeah, so I really like the colors of it too. I'm like, look, it's a pretty color for a book. The next book I have is kind of considered a classic, and Michaela says, like, I feel like it's one of those books that you have to read, so I got it for $10. It's The Catcher in the Rye by J.D. Salinger. I have no idea what this book is actually about. I've heard about it like multiple times, just like the title and everything, and so I've decided that I should read it. I can't wait to get to this eventually.
You know what I like is the smell of new books because they smell good. They have that, that new book smell, so you're just like.
Right, we're getting closer to the end. Closer, somewhat. This is so many books, so many books, so many books. The next book I have is Love Letters to the Dead by Ava DeLaria. And I heard about this book through BookTube before, and I've heard it's pretty interesting. This girl's sister had died at a young age, so she decides to write letters to people who have died young as well. So it's really interesting. Next book I have is Lux Opposition, which is like, these are the new like bind-ups they have for the Lux series, and I've heard fantastic things about them thanks to, of course, Sasha, and it's by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I have yet to get like the first two bind-ups, but I found this one for like $3, and like I said, you kind of have to get that because I have not seen it that low of a price before. So definitely got that, and I really hope I can find the other bind-ups so I can read this, because I did start reading it. I have it on my phone, but I prefer to have like the physical copies. Like, they're always good.
Look how sunny. So pretty. So pretty.
The next book I have is Brooklyn by Colm Tóibín. I don't know how to say his last name. He's got one of those foreign names, like last names like me. The struggle is real. I've started reading this book and I got busy with work. I work 30 plus hours a week, so I didn't have time to read at all, and doing schoolwork too. So yeah, it's been crazy, but it's so good so far. It's about this girl moving away from her home, which is Ireland, and coming to America and just dealing with it. And I just think it's just so brave of people to ever do that. The next book I have is a book I already own, but I like to have my series or trilogies matching. Just they gotta match. They look pretty together. And this one is Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi, and I have the old original cover. And I love this cover. I like it a lot more than the other cover they had, so I had to buy it to match all my other books. So the next book I have is a classic, and it is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Books A Million, they have these new covers, and it's so cute, it's so pretty, and the pages are like the ones with the texture. I don't know if can you see that? Yeah. So anyways, I like it, and I've just been wanting to read some classical books lately because I've not really read in that genre before. So I definitely want to get to Pride and Prejudice and Jane Eyre this summer. The next book I have is Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins, and I've heard so much about this book, and I've been wanting to buy it for a couple years now, and I finally bought it, so I cannot wait to read it over the summer. Almost to the end, I promise. So the next book I have is Since You've Been Gone by Morgan Matson. I just realized I have 2 books by her in this haul. Didn't realize that. But it's like her best friend's like gone or something, and they had like a summer list of things to do and everything, and she like does it. So I've been wanting to read this book because it just seems so cute, because I just love little novels like this to read over the summer. Alright, so the last book I have is a book I've been dying to read forever because I've heard so many great things about it, and it is Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire Sayans. I don't know how to say your last name, and I apologize because I know how it feels to have people butcher your last name. I just know it. I didn't even remember what it was necessarily about because it's been so long that I've been wanting to read this, and I just finally bought it because I was like, you've been waiting too long to get that book, and you're just gonna buy it. You're just gonna buy it. So that's what I've been doing. So yeah, I bought majority of these books in these hauls. I am a very hard worker. So yeah, buying books for yourself is one of the great accomplishments, let me tell you that. And anyways, so I hope you guys enjoyed this book haul. I know that was very lengthy, and I just tried to film it after so long. It's just been a long time since I've stood in front of the camera and recorded something for you guys, which I love personally doing, getting in front of a camera and doing something that I love and sharing it with people. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will try to start posting whenever I can when life isn't too hectic. I hopefully will be making another video soon. Maybe I'll try to do another collab video with Michaela because I really enjoy doing things with her, especially now that I live with her. So anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Just give it a thumbs up. Leave me in the comments if you've read any of these books or have any book suggestions that I should read next. I'll see you guys next time with another video. Bye!